Coming up, do you find yourself comfort eating to run away from your feelings? Do you lock yourself in your room feeling ashamed and depressed? Do you wish more than anything you could escape this cycle? Well, you're not alone. Tonight's live guest battled with binge eating for many years until one day she turned to God. Stay tuned for the full story on how faith helped her to beat the binge.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. Tonight's topic is called It's Possible to Beat the Binge. You know, when that person binges on food to the point where not only are they bigger, but it affects their esteem. They become depressed, they withdraw within themselves, and they've lost all confidence. And sometimes they try to hide everything, but everyone can see around them there is something wrong. Before we speak more about this with Rachel, let's have a look at a testimony right now, someone who, through the power of faith, overcame a problem.
Well, I just used to look in the mirror and I was just down. You know, I really didn't like what I saw. I couldn't smile. You know, honestly speaking, I just used to look there and wanted to cry, really. You know, it was a really horrible moment for me, waking up in the morning and just having to look at myself and think, you know, that's who I am, really. You know, I couldn't accept myself for who I was. I used to walk with my head down all the time, and like a lot of people mentioned it to me actually, how down I looked, you know, literally just looking at the floor all the time. Because I couldn't look at people. I always thought that they were thinking what I was thinking and that they were judging me and that they thought exactly as I was thinking. And the way I saw myself, I thought that that's exactly how they saw me, in such a negative light. I was invited to the church first, and obviously when I came here, for a good few years, I was very closed up, so I didn't want to speak to anybody, to be honest, because I always thought, again, I thought people were still judging me and thought, you know, that they would think, what is wrong with this girl? Like, what is her problem? I don't understand. But as time went on, I started to open up. You know, I started to talk, you know, more about what was going on inside. You know, I started to dig a bit deeper, you know, and tell people, you know, what the problems were. And that really helped me overcome, you know, my low self-esteem. You know, it helped me develop in my confidence levels. You know, it really helped me, you know, I was able to put my head high. I took part in a purpose of faith, and it really helped me overcome, you know, this issue that I was dealing with, because I was able to pour everything out. Everything that had been buried inside, I was able to let go of. And at the end of it, I just felt so relieved, you know, like it was just joy and peace after, because when you have things inside of you and you feel like you can't talk to anybody, or you feel like you can't open up about it, and you finally do, it's amazing, honestly. So today, I'm confident, I love who I see in the mirror, and yeah, I'm just loving me.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, tonight's topic is It's Possible to Beat the Binge. And with me tonight is Rachel. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm actually a bit hungry. I think this topic's making me hungry.
So, you know, it's possible for people who are binging, right?
Yeah.
People who have low self-esteem, they're depressed. You know, they face the trauma in life. Something's happened to them. And some people may turn to a sport. Some people may turn to drink. But there are others that turn to food, comfort eating, right?
Yeah.
I think actually it's a common misconception that food or binge eating comes down to the actual food and to the weight. It actually doesn't. I think often it comes down just to this distraction. As Pastor Michael's saying, it can come down, maybe you take up a sport, maybe you take up something else, but either way it's a distraction from a bigger problem. And tonight's guest is a woman who suffered from binge eating and comfort eating, but reports suggest that there's been a rise in young men being treated for eating disorders too. In fact, the number of males receiving treatment has risen by a whopping 27% in the last 3 years, which is double the rate of the rise of female patients. And there's a lack of understanding about eating disorders in general, with many people still believing that it is a female disease, despite the fact that a quarter of all sufferers are now male. Whilst the figures have raised concern amongst those who believe that the pressure to obtain the perfect body is constantly increasing for both sexes, others argue that actually these figures show a positive change. So before, men were struggling in silence, whereas now they feel like they can open up and admit that they've got a problem without feeling like they're losing their masculinity. So either way, eating disorders come in many different forms and can affect anyone. I don't know if this is something which maybe you yourself, Pastor Michael, have dealt with more. You've seen it rising in males as well, or?
I have not actually spoken to people, males especially, who are binge eating. I think you hear about it on TV. You read stories about it, but myself, I haven't really spoken to anyone personally who had this problem. But our guest tonight had this problem, and you know, if you are a binge eater, you know, you find comfort in eating food. It's the first thing that you go to whenever there's a challenge in front of you. Maybe you are scared, maybe you are afraid. You know, instead of dealing with those issues or problems that you're facing right now, the first thing you do is go to the fridge, you know, and you can finish off a pack of biscuits just like that, packs of crisps, you know, and normally it's not healthy food. It's junk food. It's food that makes you sick. It even makes you lethargic and tired. It doesn't help you. So, you know, it makes things even worse. And maybe you are going through other issues, other problems you're facing as well. It can affect your mental health. Maybe you're starting to look within yourself and you're starting to say to yourself, you know what? I'm not good enough. You're not just thinking it about you, but you think others around you think the same negative way about you. And that's not the case. So we want to help you tonight. If you are binge eating, if you are depressed, if you're seeing yourself changing, all you do most of your time is sitting in front of the sofa, in front of the TV, sorry, on your sofa, and you're just eating and eating. Well, we want to help you on tonight's program, all right? If you want to give us a call, how can faith help you to stop binge eating? Actually, it's not the eating as we've said. We must go to the root. You have to go back and see what is it that caused you to binge eat. As I said, some people take up alcohol. Some people take drugs. Food is just a comfort. It's to forget what has happened to you. And maybe you know what has happened to you, maybe you don't. But it's just a result of something negative that happened to you in the past. So if you want help, if you'd like to talk to someone, our line is open right now. The number to call is on your screen. It's 0207 686 6300. That's 0207 686 6300. How can they contact us, Rachel, by social media?
Yes, that is the case. They can always get in touch with us. And I want you to know as well that maybe it isn't yourself that's suffering with this problem. Maybe you are watching a loved one go through this. Actually, I used to live with someone who went through this problem, and it was very difficult to know what to do. I mean, hiding food isn't enough because obviously, as we've just said, it doesn't actually get to the root of the problem. So you can always get in touch with us through social media. You can, like us, comment on our posts, send us a private message on Facebook. All you have to do is search Finding Answers and follow us there, and you'll see all of our posts. You can also follow us on Instagram, where you'll see the behind the scenes footage. Again, just look us up at Finding Answers. And if you want to watch any old episodes, we explore a range of topics, so do look us up on YouTube. You can find us again at Finding Answers.
Rachel, you just mentioned about a friend of yours who was binge eating.
Yes, I lived with a girl for 2 years.
Really? And did you ever find out what was the root of her binge eating?
She had a lot of family issues, which kind of went back a long way for her, and I think that was one of the main things which triggered this. It took her a long time to actually realise this and to work this out, but she did receive help in the end, and it wasn't through just getting over the problem with the food, because then it actually started to manifest itself in other ways, like drinking or different distractions that just weren't healthy at all. So obviously, if this is the case for you, maybe cutting out the food isn't the answer. And
did she get help eventually?
She did, yeah.
Yeah?
She got help.
Great. So if you want help as well, then you know what to do. Joining us after the break, we'll have my guest for this evening, who will share her story of the root behind her binge eating. And also joining us on the sofa is Pastor Christian, all right? So we'll be back right after this break.
Do the maths. Changing your life is not as simple as changing your hairstyle, your shirt, or rearranging the furniture in your living room. You're talking about years of deep-rooted habits, behaviours and problems that are not going to change overnight. Many may say, think positively, but the trouble with that is that you can't do or change anything with just thoughts. But add action into the equation and the outcome can be different. Let's do the maths. Positive thinking plus action equals a change. Whatever it is, if the change is significant, if it's worthwhile, then it will have to take time, effort and homework from you.
DKW, a different kind of woman. So I want to find out if you might have dyslexia.
My memory's not too good today.
And it's almost like you have to be this superwoman.
Years and years ago when I watched Titanic, and obviously My Heart Will Go On came on, and it just brought me back to that time.
And I was with 4 other sisters. Lord, have mercy. So you know how they were. You're not gonna go over there and say nothing?
Come on, a little closer now, and let me know that you're mine. Woo!
It's going to be your turn to do your macaroons. No competition.
We're here at Britain's Top Designer 2015.
This is DKW. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Tonight's topic is, it is possible to stop binging. Now, let's meet my guest for this evening. Her name is Anita Samuel.
Pushed me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Anita, welcome to the program.
Good evening, it's nice to be here.
How are you?
I'm good.
Not nervous, are you?
No, I'm actually
calm, actually. All the nerves have gone.
Okay, great. And joining me on the sofa is Pastor Christian. Good evening, Pastor Christian.
Good evening, Pastor Michael.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
You know, Pastor Christian, as you mentioned before, you know, when people binge eat, it's like a drug, right? It controls the person. And as we said, it's just hiding something from their past.
Yes.
It's covering up, you know, issues that they need to deal with.
So there's a deeper root, right? It's not the eating itself, but there's something behind that. You know, I was reading an article a long time ago about there's something they call pagophagia. It's eating disorder, but it's interesting. It has to do with our topic today because it's an act of eating things that doesn't even have nutritional values. Like, for example, I don't know, chewing ice. Yeah. Or some people they eat chalk. Yeah. You know, things that has no nutritional values at all, but people start consuming it, and they were trying to find out why people does that, because there are people who does that, and they found out that it's something deeper, you know, in the mind of the person. There's something, you know, an issue, a problem that is inside. It's not the eating itself, because it doesn't have any value at all, but something deeper.
I can even add to that and say there is probably a spiritual root as well, because why would people want to eat mud or clay?
Doesn't make sense.
Right? And the excuse that they say is it has minerals in it. Okay, but if that's the case, how come we're not all eating chalk or mud or, you know, rubber bands, I think.
Yeah, they start eating, and it doesn't make any sense. While some people they start eating food, right? With normal food, it's already a problem which we are going to be talking about today. But as you can see, it's not just the act itself. Yeah. There's something deeper, and many people who are watching us, maybe they want to know why is that, and if there's a way out of this, right?
Well, we're going to hear from Anita now. Okay, Anita. So you know, things were okay before, right?
Yep.
Or it seemed everything was okay, but then you started to kind of binge eat.
Yes.
Could you tell us what made you start to, you know, overeat and indulge in food?
Well, I'm the youngest out of 4 siblings, and so my 2 brothers and my sister, they're slim. So I was the biggest one in my family, but I never thought it was a problem. I didn't think any of it until when your mum keeps saying you're fat, you're putting on weight, and I was like, but I'm a child, I'm supposed to eat. That's what I just thought, you know, I'm meant to eat. But as I got older and I started going secondary school, I started to eat more just to hide the fact that I loved food. I thought I loved food, but the love of food was becoming addiction for me. So it was really bad. So I would, you know, go to a certain place one day and buy my lunch, and then I'll go somewhere else and buy my lunch, and I wouldn't eat dinner. I wouldn't eat dinner at home. And my mom...
Why was that?
Because I had filled up on junk food, and I was like, what my mum was cooking at home, I didn't want to eat. I just wanted, you know, that burger. I wanted the chicken and chips. I wanted the cake. I wanted the chocolate. That's what I wanted.
I mean, there are people that would want the same thing. You know, they would eat out maybe because they have a busy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And they don't have any issues, right? But there was something that was underlying, wasn't it?
Yes.
And was that because you were big as a young girl and maybe your mum told you that you were big, or was it something more than that?
It actually developed, there was more reason. I always felt outside of my family. I felt like the black sheep. I felt that my family didn't love me. So then, in order to feel like I want, you know, to receive love, I started doing sports at school. So I was good at athletics. I was good in 100 meters. I did basketball, but it still didn't hide the fact that I had an eating problem. So, and I also changed schools because we moved to Enfield. And people say, you know, when you move, it's a fresh start, new beginning. That wasn't my case. My eating habits got worse. So by the time I changed schools, I went from being a size 14 to a size 16. So I was now wearing my mum's clothes. So you can imagine at the age of 12 years of age, you're a size 16. But it didn't show because I had the height. So I was able to work with it. And then I was always told, oh, but you're big because you do sports. That's why you got the big thighs. That's why you got the big calves. And I was just like, no. But I couldn't express how I felt to my mom. I couldn't say to my sister, because I would look at my sister and I used to hate her. I used to envy her, and I'd be like, why is she skinny and why am I fat? Why couldn't it be the other way around? Why couldn't she be big and I'd be the skinny one? Then, you know, my family could love me more. My mum can say to her, oh, you're big, you're fat. And it didn't help as well that my mum is big as well. And I always used to think to myself, but how can you say to me, I'm big, but have you looked at yourself as well? So there was that issue. And like I said, doing the sports, it didn't help, to the point I stopped doing sports. I dropped out. My teacher, you know, she was like, why are you giving up sports? You can be a great sports person. I was like, I don't want to. So then eating now became my comfort. Because I was looking for answers, and I thought, you know, I can find it in food. And I would lock myself away in my bedroom and I would just eat and eat and eat and eat.
Did your family actually see this? Did they see that, look, this is a problem, let's try and help in any way?
My mum did. She did try to help, but I just thought it was her nagging. And so I disregarded it. My sister tried to help. I just thought, why are you trying to, you know, to help me? I didn't want it. So my family did see, you know, saw it as a problem, but I just saw it as them, you know, being on my case, like, you're overweight, you need to do something about it. And I was just like, leave me alone. And then there was a point to, when I got to sixth form, I now went from a size 16 to a size 22.
Really?
Yes. So I didn't, when I would go shopping, my sister could, you know, wear like the nice things. There was nothing that I would like. And then that's when I started to dress like a boy. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna...
Was that the baggy clothes just to cover up your...
That was the baggy clothes, but I would say to people, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a tomboy. That's, you know, that's how I wanted to be, and that's how people just thought. And my mum would, you know, buy like dresses for me. I wouldn't wear them, they would just stay. I would wear my brother's tracksuit bottoms, I would wear their clothes, because I now wanted to hide my weight. And I didn't want to deal with it. And like I said, I'm one of the most, in my family, I can cover up a lot of things and no one will know what's going on. And my mom will ask, you know, Anita, what's going on? And I wouldn't tell her, or I would maybe tell her a little bit, but I wouldn't say how I completely felt.
That's what many people do, right?
Yes.
Whether they self-harm, they will hide it. They're not gonna show that I self-harm. In her case, she hid this pain. She hid what was inside of her. She was a good actor, and, you know, an actress, to cover the real feelings that she was going through.
Yes, and the eating is just like a scapegoat for her, isn't it? Yeah. She's hiding it, and I don't think people can solve the problem by hiding it. And this is an issue that if you do not face, if you do not know how to deal with it, if you do not know how to resolve it, it will really consume you. Like in her case, I do believe she would feel alone. Not even the family could understand her. So this issue is becoming bigger and bigger, and it's consuming her from inside.
Anita, did you try to look for help? I don't know, by going to a doctor or, you know, speaking to people, even friends outside of the home. Did you try anything?
I did try. I did speak to someone, and I did go to my doctors. And when it's not a nice feeling when you go to the doctors and they weigh you and they tell you you're obese. And I think I was now 18. And when I heard...
How much did you weigh at 18 years old?
I weighed, I think, nearly 20 stones. I was heavy, and that was not good for my age, because now I was starting to have problems with my health. To run to the bus stop, I couldn't do because I would be out of breath. Walking upstairs in the house, I would be out of breath, and my mum would be like, Anita, that's not good. Even to the point, my mum didn't think I was going to see my 30th birthday. She literally thought if I continued in that way, I was not going to see my 30th birthday.
I mean, I can imagine your mum seeing you, as you said, walking up the stairs, you're out of breath, and then she makes that comment to you, Anita, this is not a good thing. You probably still looked at her as, she's nagging me.
Yes, I still. And then it was only until when I spoke to someone and they said I needed to do something about it. And I did, but I didn't do it for myself. I did it because that person told me. So even when I lost the weight, I went down to a size 12. I wasn't, yeah.
What did you do?
I went 3 months without eating no junk food. I felt like one of those junkies that went cold turkey, and I had the shakes, and I was just like, it's not easy, but I was like, I'm gonna do it. I started to exercise, but like I said, I didn't do it because I wanted to. I did it because someone told me.
And who was this someone that told you to do it?
It wasn't my mum, it was a friend.
A close friend.
It was a close friend, and I did it, and I went down to size 12, and I just saw myself, and I was like, you are so ugly.
Really?
I was like, yeah. I felt much more better when I was bigger and I had the baggy clothes. And the more I kept looking at myself, the more I just really despised that person. Like, there's a picture I have on my phone, and I don't like looking at it because I know I didn't lose the weight for myself. I lost the weight in the wrong reason. So every time I look at that picture, I'm like to myself, Anita, wow, I mean, people say I look great, but deep down inside, I didn't feel great. I didn't look great. And now that's when the eating no longer became a comfort. It now became my addiction. It became my hideaway.
So did you actually put on back the weight again?
I put back on the weight.
And what weight did you go up to again?
I was now a size 24.
So you got bigger?
I got bigger.
And that's just proof that there was something there. You did it because someone said for you to lose the weight, but it didn't come from you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we see many people do. When you don't believe in something and you take the steps to change because you know it's not good for you, and you do it for other people, you're trying to please other people, then eventually you go back and do, or get worse, right? And in Anita's case, her weight went beyond what she was.
Even bigger than before,
yes.
Isn't it? And it's interesting because now you can see that it's not about being big or being small. Because in her case, in the eyes of other people, they would say, "Wow, you look great," because they saw a big change. But she was not satisfied inside. You see, it's something personal.
Yeah.
So it's not about how you look. Inside of her, there was something missing. So she wasn't happy when she was in a bigger size. She wasn't happy when she lost that. And then what is the problem then? What is the problem? So you can see that the problem is something inside.
And after the break, you're going to find out how Anita found help. And maybe you are doing things to please people. But deep down inside, you are not happy. The issue hasn't been dealt with. How can faith help you to deal with the underlying issues? You're going to find out after this break.
where DKW a different kind of woman. So I want to find out if you might have dyslexia.
My memory's not too good today.
And it's almost like you have to be this superwoman.
Years and years ago when I watched Titanic, and obviously my heart will go on came on, and it just brought me back to that time.
And I was with 4 other sisters. Lord have mercy. So you know how they were. You're not gonna go over there and say nothing?
Come on, a little closer now. And let me know that you're mine. Woo!
It's going to be your turn to do your macaroons. No competition.
We're here at Britain's Top Designer 2015.
This is DKW. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Follow My Channel's updates on Facebook. Like your favourite videos and see pictures of your favourite artists. Access our Twitter @MyChannelUK and get to know what's on with My Channel. Visit tvmychannel.com and be connected to our world. My Channel, a whole new world of entertainment.
If I tell you a story, and you like that story, what kind of story is it?
It's a comedy.
No. Manchester
United.
I'm a pro.
Although I'm Chelsea. Love talk, time to communicate.
Okay. Say that word, but differently.
It's time to communicate. Right, so we are in a relationship.
What were you doing? You're not supposed to tell me the word. We are in a marriage.
Yes.
Okay.
And we are very serious about it. So what does that say?
A serious marriage.
No. It has to do with your brain.
Intelligence.
What?
Intelligent love.
Yes. See, I'm getting good at this.
Love Talk on My Channel, Sky 203, every Saturday, 3 p.m.
Do the maths. Changing your life is not as simple as changing your hairstyle, your shirt, or rearranging the furniture in your living room. You're talking about years of deep-rooted habits, behaviours and problems that are not going to change overnight. Many may say, think positively, but the trouble with that is that you can't do or change anything with just thoughts. But add action into the equation and the outcome can be different. Let's do the maths. Positive thinking plus action equals a change. Whatever it is, if the change is significant, if it's worthwhile, then it will have to take time, effort and homework from you.
So welcome back. Now let's see how Anita was able to overcome her binge eating. Anita, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, this problem you had to address it, didn't you?
Yes.
You needed help.
Yes.
And the thing is, in your case, you were already attending a spiritual center.
Yes.
But as you said, one thing with God is that you need to be open. You need to be sincere. If you're going through a problem, you need to ask for help, whether that's through prayer or speak to people that can help you. The thing is, as you said, you like to hide things inside. So how long were you in your place of worship? How long?
Come July, it will be 18 years.
I mean, 18 years now, but how long, were you going through this in the spiritual?
I would say it was about probably 10 years going.
10 years?
Yeah.
Hiding, you know, this pain, this hurt inside of you.
Yes.
And it wasn't that there were people that couldn't help you. It wasn't that there were people that couldn't help you. It was the fact that you showed everyone, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right? Now tell us then, how did you come to the conclusion that, you know what, I need to be open, I need to ask for help?
It wasn't easy. I think that it was, I think I was like 20, yeah, I was in my mid-20s. And I remember there was a time I was in the spiritual center, and I can't remember what it was, you know, it was just a word that I heard. And I didn't think it could relate to my health, you know, my health, because I just thought, you know, that's not what I needed to hear. But when I started to think about my health and started to think, closing everyone away, keeping everything bottled up, it wasn't helping me. Mm-hmm. And I needed to speak to someone. So in the spiritual center, I spoke to someone. I let everything out. It was like, what was a burden had just now been lifted off. It was
10 years.
Yeah, it was just like, it was like the weight, like, not physically, but it's just like I shedded that weight, and it was just like, whew, that was a really...
pressure, right?
Yeah.
Everything you kept inside was bottling up. And if you didn't release it somehow, if you didn't speak up, who knows, right? You could have put on more weight, you would have got depressed. I don't know, were you depressed?
I was actually, and I never told my mum. But you know what they always say, a mother knows. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because my mum came to me and she spoke to me. And that was the first time ever I spoke to my mum and I told my mum how I felt about my weight, that I didn't like the fact that she would say I was fat. You know, I just didn't think it was encouraging. And she apologized. Now, this is, you know, a mother I now knew that really cared about me. She cared about my well-being. And she was just like, if there's anything that I can do, we'll do it together. And the thing is, it wasn't something I needed to do with my mum. It was something I needed to do on my own. Mm-hmm. And that's when I learned I have faith in me. I could overcome it. I didn't need to hide behind the baggy clothes. I didn't need to be addicted to food because, like I said, it was no longer comfort eating. It was no longer that comfort I needed. It was an addiction. Mm-hmm. And it was like if I didn't have that, if I didn't have food to be injected into my stomach or eating it, it was just like, what do I do? And through faith, I learned that I can overcome this.
So as I said, you were already going to the center. You were praying.
Yeah.
Right? But there's prayer. But if you still have these issues inside of you, and as you said, it was like a weight when you opened up and just let everything out.
Yes.
You felt this weight just leave you. You felt light, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. You know, when you do open up, maybe a phone call is enough. Just pick up the phone, speak to someone about what you're going through. Maybe you don't feel comfortable speaking to flesh and blood, your own family or a close friend of yours. Sometimes just speaking to someone, a stranger, just to talk to someone. Maybe that stranger is at the other end of this line. You know, our number is on the screen now, 0207 686 6300. That could be the start of your change, of the turnaround happening in your life, right? As Anita just said. So, prayer. I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure that when you opened up, your prayers had more meaning now.
Yes.
You felt closer to God when you would pray. Now you were able to open up and be more expressive to God himself.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
It's absolutely correct. I felt, you know, I didn't have to hide. I now knew I could tell God what I needed to turn in. Believe me, it was a lot. Like, it was just like, I didn't even want to stop praying. It was just like, everything that I held in for 10 years, I was able to finally let go. And you know what? One of the things I learned is that I had to love myself. I didn't love myself. My family loved me. They loved me to bits. But I didn't love myself.
Yeah.
And that's why I indulged. Food became my addiction because I thought food loved me, but food was actually slowly but surely, it would have killed me. I would have been, if I didn't open up, if I didn't take heed, if I didn't continue going to the spiritual center, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be here right now.
Now, Anita, you don't look 24 stone today.
No.
I don't want to ask your weight, but how are you feeling now?
Do you know what? I feel so much better now. I'm actually doing my healthy eating. I make my fresh smoothies in the morning, eating healthy. And it's funny because me, my mum and my sister were all on this healthy thing. And we're doing it for ourselves. Like, we would tell each other, like, you know, how are we finding it? How's it going? And it was even, like, funny because even recently my mum said to me, she was like, you know, you're slimming down. And I was like, really? But I was like, well, I'm just, you know, exercising and I'm doing it for myself now. I'm making sure that I'm looking after myself. And I can say I've got my target goal that I want to go to, but I can say I'm a comfortable 18 now, but that's not
where you want to be.
Where I want to be, because I have my goal that I want to go to. But I love myself.
Yes.
I love myself, and I no longer think to myself I'm an ugly person. And I thank my mom, I thank the spiritual center, because if my mom didn't persist, and if I didn't open up to someone in that spiritual center or tell God what was going on, I would have still been depressed, been a wreck, and
maybe, as you said, your doctor said, or was it your mum or your doctor said by the time you wouldn't reach your 30th birthday? Maybe.
It was my mum.
It was your mum, right?
It was my mum.
Well, Anita, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you've overcome this issue, and it's good that you are, you found the answer through faith, and that you're working towards your goals.
Yes.
All right? Thank you very much for coming and sharing your story with us.
No problem.
Pastor Christian, there, she's found a solution through faith, right?
Yes, it's really strong, because we can see that when it all started when she asked for help. The reason why she suffered for so long unnecessarily, Pastor Michael, because there were people around her who love her, but she couldn't see them.
Yeah.
They were right there in front of them, but she would, like for example, she was talking about her mom, she would see it as an attack.
Yeah.
But it's not. People love her, and she couldn't see it. And this is amazing, isn't it?
Any word, that person will twist it.
Yeah,
right?
it's the meaning.
Twist it in a negative way and say, stop. As she said, stop nagging me. You're against me.
Yeah, nagging me. That's the word. So the person wants to help, but no, this person is oppressing me. But then when she started actually opening up, like trying to find, a solution. She learned to love herself. Look at what happened. Yeah. And maybe you who are watching us, this is all you need, like Pastor Michael was saying. Maybe you need someone to talk to. You don't have to face this situation alone. Maybe you are suffering alone unnecessarily. You can just contact, you can just call. Maybe all you need is someone to listen to you. And there are advisors ready to listen to you, exactly to hear what is inside of you. Pastor Michael, I believe if people would copy what she did, it will help them a lot.
Definitely. And that's why we bring people like Anita on this program, to share their real life story with you, so they can tell you themselves that there is an answer through faith. If you want help, all right, then stay tuned, because after the break and at the end of the program, we'll be praying for you. If you've tried everything physically, then why not try faith, okay? Get your glass of water ready, because as you know, at the end of the program, we'll be praying for you. We'll see you after this break.
UK, DKW, a different kind of woman. So I want to find out if you might have dyslexia.
My memory's not too good today.
And it's almost like you have to be this superwoman.
Years and years ago when I watched Titanic, and obviously my heart will go on came on, and it just brought me back to that time.
And I was with 4 other sisters. Lord have mercy. So you know how they were. You're not gonna go over there and say nothing.
Come on, a little closer now. And let me know that you're mine. Woo!
It's going to be your turn to do your macaroons. No competition.
We're here at Britain's Top Designer 2015.
This is DKW. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Follow My Channel's updates on Facebook. Like your favourite videos and see pictures of your favourite artists. Access our Twitter @MyChannelUK and get to know what's on with My Channel. Visit tvmychannel.com and be connected to our world. My Channel, a whole new world of entertainment.
If I tell you a story, and you like that story, what kind of story is it?
It's a comedy.
No. Manchester
United.
I'm a pro.
Although I'm Chelsea. Love talk, time to communicate.
Okay. Say that word, but differently.
It's time to communicate. Right, so we are in a relationship.
What were you doing? You're not supposed to tell me the word. We are in a marriage.
Yes.
Okay.
And we are very serious about it. So what does that say?
A serious marriage.
No. It has to do with your brain.
Intelligence.
What?
Intelligent love.
Yes. See, I'm getting good at this.
Love Talk on My Channel Sky 203 every Saturday 3 p.m.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, before we go for the prayer, Pastor Christian is joining me. Good evening, Pastor Christian, once again.
Good evening again, Pastor Michael.
Just thinking of Anita's story, we see in the Bible, it talks about you shall know a tree by its fruit.
Yes.
You shall know a plant by, whether it's flourishing or not. And how do you know if a tree is flourishing, if it's growing, if it's healthy, or whether it's dead? We can always go down to the roots,
yes,
right? Everything starts there. And in Anita's case, she had to go back to the root cause of why she was binge eating. And with anyone, whether you're going through any kind of problem, you can take a tablet to try to cover up the symptoms, right? But if you don't go to the root, and sometimes roots go back many years.
Yes.
And if you don't go back and try to find out what it is so you can treat it, things are just going to get worse, right?
Yes, and that's exactly what happened with her, because in the case of many, they don't really check what is behind the problem, because sometimes the problem is not what you see, just like a tree. Okay? When you look at the tree, you see it there, you see the fruit, you see everything, but you don't see the root. Yeah. And the life of the tree is in its root. And if we do not go down, we do not check what is actually behind our problems, you can even cut the branch. It doesn't kill the tree, isn't it? You cut off the branches, it will still be there. It's like patching things up, right? You are not actually solving it. It's like a boat, right? Your boat is there sinking, and then you're trying to remove the water, but you're not covering the hole.
Yeah.
So many people who doesn't know how to find or how to deal with the root of their problem, they end up having a bigger problem, just like what happened with her, and it makes them very, confused, disappointed with themselves.
Yeah. And Pastor Christian, it's not easy to address the roots, but it is possible.
It is possible.
It's possible through the power of faith. And that's what we give to you. We don't give you a pill. We don't give you some sort of treatment to cover up your pain. We give you the solution. It is possible. And what's that pill, if I can say it? It's faith. Faith is what you need to overcome any problem that you are facing. And it's proven to work, because if you're a regular viewer of this program, you've seen countless stories of people from all walks of life, all kinds of problems that they faced. Even some have come and said the same things that other guests have said. And how come they've beaten depression? How come they're finally able to live a life, a fruitful life after being abused, in their teens, for example? How come we've seen people who are now happily married, people who are now healthy and strong, they're successful in life? It all boils down to one thing: faith. And that's what we want to give to you. Even if you say to yourself, how can I beat this issue inside? You can. If Anita did, and all of our guests did, through faith, you can too. You just need to find out how to develop that faith, that strength that's inside of you. Do you know it's there already? Pastor Christian, it's there inside of them already.
And Pastor Michael, this is important for us to tell everyone, because sometimes they don't see it. Sometimes all they see is the problem. And, dealing with problems, this is the tendency. Our tendency is to see only what is in front of us. That is why you need, maybe all you need is someone to talk to. Mm-hmm. This is what we are telling everyone. Maybe you need someone to give you a different perspective. Maybe you are stuck in your situation because all you see is here. You are looking here. You don't see any other alternatives. And how can you find any other way around this? How can you find the things that you can't see yourselves? You need someone to talk to. That's the beginning of this change. When you open up and you ask for help, it's becoming humble, right? Asking for help. Can you help me? I can't deal with this on my own. Mm-hmm. That's when situation change.
And you can make this first step right now with this prayer. So, even if you don't have a glass of water at hand, no problem. All you need to do is grab this opportunity and join us for the prayer, okay? It's time for prayer.
My Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, we come before your presence right now. In behalf of everyone who is watching together with us, our viewers, who maybe, my Lord, during this program, they heard that their lives can change if they ask for help. We were talking about a particular problem today, but maybe, my Lord, this person who has been watching us, they have a different problem. But it doesn't really matter, because what we're talking about is the problem that is inside the root. What is something that no one sees. Maybe, my God, this person is already tired of their situation. They tried many things. They approached many people. They tried different ways. And until today, my Lord, they are still facing this problem that is consuming them little by little. Maybe our viewers right now feels like they are alone. Maybe they feel like even their family, those who are closest to them, cannot really understand what they feel. And so they have this feeling inside that, they're alone in life. But this is not true, my Lord, because you can see this person. You know what's going on inside. So I ask you, my God, visit these men, visit this woman, wherever they may be. And my Father, heal this person from inside. Yes, this is our prayer. Heal them from inside, because maybe the problem that they have is not what they see, but it's deep down inside of them. Like Pastor Michael was saying, it's something spiritual. So heal this person inside. My Father, let your presence enter there and take away all this sadness. Take away, my Father, all this negativity that is consuming the mind and the life of this person. Heal them, because once they are healed, everything in their life, my Father, will become clear. They will start thinking clear. And my Lord, their situation will change. Holy Spirit, wake the faith of this person, the power that is inside of them. My God, they have power inside of them. Maybe they don't know that it's there, but it is there. this power to change anything. Everything becomes possible through this faith. So wake it up right now, my Father, and let this person believe that everything will change in their life from now on, in Jesus' name. My Father, we bless and consecrate this water. And when we drink this, my Lord, please purify us. Wash us, my God. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. My friends, it is blessed. You can drink your water right now.
There you have it. One more prayer that we believe God has answered, all right? And I believe that your life, your situation, whatever was the root of the problem, if you joined us at home in prayer now through faith, then God is already touching you, okay? God is starting to do a marvelous work inside of you. Give him an opportunity to work, okay? You can join us again tomorrow at the same time for another real life story here live on Finding Answers. We'll see you. God bless you.